Rebel Ridge is a brand new 2024 film that is also a Netflix exclusive, and this is one that I've been hearing a lot about and seeing on Netflix often, and just having a lot of buzz onto it, and people talking about it, and discussions talked about it, and advertised a lot. I found this film to be very heavily advertised and promoted, I guess, when it comes to Netflix films. And I'm always weary on Netflix films, especially lately. And as the years go by, there seem to be shittier and shittier ones, and that's really unfortunate because Netflix films used to be usually mostly good. Now they're seeming to kind of lean into mostly bad, and primarily like it seems to happen a lot. But what I've what I've seen in this film specifically through its advertising, because I didn't watch a trailer and I tried to avoid the plot at all costs, but with the posters and stuff, it seemed like a cool film and something that would probably lean a little bit more into the epic side of like an action drama. I was kind of guessing that this would be like on the action side, drama side kind of things. A deeper story. It didn't really seem like a turn your brain off kind of thing. It seemed like something that would have a bigger message kind of thing, and a deeper story, which it does. It does. So basically, what we have going on here is we have this guy named Terry, and he is bicycling into this town, and then the film opens up with him like being hit by a cop car, and then the cop arrests him and claims that he stole a bunch of money, and basically is giving him a hard ass time in this small ass town, and the cops are very brutal, and you as the plot goes on, you find out that the cops are corrupt. By the way, this it says on the title, but this is going to be a spoiler review, and I don't usually do spoiler reviews right off the bat, but I am doing it in this circumstance because this film is on Netflix, so anybody with a Netflix account can watch this for free. Being that this is available on Netflix, I suggest just going to watch it and then coming back to this review if you don't want spoilers. But I am going to be talking about spoilers in this review because this is such an easy film to access, and you can just go watch it first and then come back to this review. But that being said, that's your other warning, other than me putting it literally on the title of the movie, spoilers, or this review, spoilers. Basically, Terry, his brother is incarcerated in jail. His name is Michael, and Terry wants to get him out, so he got up like $26,000 or however the bail money is, however much it is, and the cops assume that this money was illegal. He's stolen and whatever. They're just kind of assuming shit kind of thing. They bring him into the station. This movie gave me immediately a lot of like Rambo First Blood vibes, and it almost feels like a modern reimagining of the Rambo story in First Blood anyway, where he goes into town and then the cops give him a hard time, and then he uses his you know war background to kind of get back at the cops. This film this film's plot happens in a similar way, where Terry has a Marine background, and he's able to like he knows how to disarm people, and he uses his smarts to his advantage kind of thing, and the cops just are immediately, they're corrupt right off the bat, and they're constantly giving him a hard time. Terry is also a black character, and this film focuses on definitely the racism and hard times that that black people are given by racist white cops a lot. And that's one thing. That's one thing that I noticed at the beginning of the film, and like 2 minutes in, I was questioning, because I see this trope a lot. There's definitely a massive saturation of the whole like evil white cop making life miserable for poor black folks stories and plots going on, and not that's a bad thing, not that that's not a problem, because it is, and not that shouldn't be spoken about and brought to people's attention, because it absolutely should, 100%. But we're just in this era where you get so many of those plots just being produced over and over and over, that the market, like I said, is just saturated with it, where everything starts to bleed together, and a lot of them aren't even done that well. But I ate my words a lot with this film specifically because this film is phenomenal in telling that story, and it does such a good job with it. And I really, really ate this film up, and I absolutely loved the way it looks, the way it's shot, the way it's acted. It's just extraordinary. I love the main character Terry, and I love his determination to get his cousin, sorry, out of, I don't know if I said brother before. It's his cousin though that's in jail. And his determination to get him out. You have this lawyer character too. Her name is Summer. She's such a cute character, and she cares so much about helping Terry out in his mission to get his cousin out of the prison. But eventually, the cops just keep giving him a rough time, even though all he wants is to use this money to get his brother out of jail. But everything starts to get delayed, and his cousin is in danger of being in jail because there's some people after him, and he ends up being killed. And this happens like basically at the end of the first act. So there's a lot of plot in this film, and there's a lot of story to be told in this film. I mentioned the main character is black. There's one of the police officers, a female police officer who's also black, but you think right off the bat that this woman is going to help him, but no, throughout the entire film she's on the cop's side, being this black woman in a completely white cop force kind of thing in this small corrupt town, and she's just as corrupt as they are, and they're giving the black guy such a hard time, and this black woman is literally doing the same thing. So racism clearly sometimes has no color. And sometimes black and blue, meaning cops, they all just bleed together when it comes to being vicious to victims, essentially. And there's so many ways to be a victim, and there's so many ways to be prejudice, I guess. And this film tells that story very, very well. I love the scenes where he is disarming the cops. There's one interrogation from the main chief of the police in front of the station, and he uses this acronym named PACE. Now I forget, PACE. Now I forget what each letter exactly stands for, but the way he delivers this kind of monologue and really gets the upper hand on the police chief, I absolutely love that scene, and then ends up disarming him. And this is where the film kind of takes a flip, and you have the main character Terry starting to get the upper hand on everybody, and this is where it really gets Rambo style, like the end of Rambo First Blood, where Terry now has control over the cops and he's kind of taking charge. I loved that. Now, that being said, there are a lot of things in this film that definitely are far-fetched and go really far-fetched and extend your belief a lot, but they're all forgivable. Just because of how this film is handled and directed and how entertaining this film is, you can forgive the brief moments that you do have to suspend your disbelief, because everything else is just so geniusly done. And the writing in this film, the writing is so incredible. Separate from writing, I do love this scene as well where because he's in the Marines again, they tase him from the back. He knows he's ready to be arrested because after that whole interrogation with the police chief, he ran from the cops and everything, and he knew they were all after him. So there's this scene where he's having a conversation with the lawyer, Summer, and there's 6 cops on him. He gets on his knees, he puts his hand up, and they tase him, and he just holds it, and then he just grabs the taser and just rips it off and goes on the ground, and he's ready for war with these cops. And like I said, his determination and his performance is just extraordinary. I loved every minute of it. The third act gets a little bit odd. Terry ends up having connections. There's this one scene where he goes into this Chinese restaurant, and he has some older Chinese guy in the back healing his wounds and stuff like that. I didn't really get how he got these connections. I didn't really understand when he starts to pay visits to certain people. There's this older guy that he goes to see with a ski mask, and he interrogates him, and it started to get a little, it started to lose me a little bit in the third act when it came to its plot and what exactly was going on and how, like, what his motivation was, being that his cousin now was already dead. Was he just seeking pure vengeance? Like, does he just want to get vengeance on the cops? So I wasn't exactly sure always, what exactly, like, if he had any other motivation besides just avenging the death of his cousin, kind of thing, and the cops completely lacking in doing their job and saving his cousin's life. But that it does lead into this really huge, like, kind of shootout and brawl that involves basically all the cops in the precinct and him and the lawyers played by, or the lawyer Summer. And then you have like a bunch of, he ends up stealing the cop car at some point and ends up in this like whole chase scene. And the film does end abruptly too, which I found a little bit strange. When he's carrying her into the hospital and leaves her there, Summer, and and then just kind of sits there, and the movie ends that way, which I didn't mind. Like, it kind of, everything was resolved, kind of thing. So it goes with the theme of the brutality, I guess, of the film. But yeah, it's just, it's a powerhouse of an action film, and it's acted very well, and I just love how this film is shot. I love, the shots are so well done, so good, with adding to the tension of the film, and it's just really worth seeing. It's one of the better, like, it's one of the best Netflix films there is, and it's super entertaining. It does have rewatch value, and I just had a really good time with it. So go check out Rebel Ridge if you haven't on Netflix yet, and if you're watching this review up to now, like I said, it's a spoiler one, so I hope you have seen it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I do recommend seeing Rebel Ridge. It's good to see Netflix exclusives that are worth seeing, like this one is. So that's all I got on that. Subscribe to Market Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.